What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and I hope you're feeling fantastic today. You'll understand the hype here in a second, Cancer. We got lunar shenanigans to talk about. But for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Cancer. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. Now, the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Jupiter, wherever, Cancer, this one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based off our lovely ruler here, the good old Moon. Yeah, I'm pointing at both of them, Cancer. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and when she's going void. Of course, there's all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so y'all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's just jump into it, Cancer. Your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling pumped. Right, we're switching up a little bit, Cancer. Just great energy all around here, Cancer. Let me tell you why. Well, first, happy Mercury Day, Cancer. It's Wednesday. Hope you've been feeling like the mind's been turned a little bit, been thinking about some things, Cancer. But also, the moon is in Pisces, but not even why I'm geeked up, because it's a full super moon, Cancer. And let's talk about the moon in Pisces first, because with the moon being in Pisces, you may notice, Cancer, that you might... Pisces is a very dreamy type of energy, so pay attention to your dreams there, Cancer. Oh, I love it. Thank you. But pay attention to your dreams there, Cancer, because who knows what... we'll talk about that in a second. Because you may be feeling a little more just tuned into, your subconscious, Cancer. Pisces is really kind of connected to the universal energies. They're just borderline psychic. And you may notice, too, Cancer, that you feel a little more empathetic and more compassionate than normal for your fellow soul tribe members. So, really, Pisces is such a loving energy. So, be mindful of that, but also be mindful because you're feeling so lovely, Cancer. One kind of negative aspect with all that love that Pisces does have, and being co-ruled by Neptune with Jupiter, is that Neptune kind of dissolves boundaries and things. So that's something we want to pay attention to. And while we're talking about that, also, Cancer, Pisces can kind of deal, they're associated with the 12th house, which can kind of deal with escapism and things along those lines. So we want to be mindful. You might notice that you're a little more susceptible to, drugs, alcohol, things along those lines, things that alter your senses. So just pay attention to that as well, Cancer. And then let's talk about this full supermoon, because just with when the moon's in a full supermoon phase, it's where the moon is going to appear closer and brighter, Cancer. And I feel like that really is just illuminating just a whole bunch of stuff on you to really but the full moon energy in general is just really about reaping what you've sown. A time of celebration, or we might be a time of reflection, because maybe things didn't quite stick how we would have liked to, Cancer. Maybe kind of fell off the wagon a little bit there as far as working towards our goal, and that's fine. We pay attention to that, we reflect, and then then we take that towards the reflective phase and think about how we're going to tweak and things, Cancer. But it's also great for just psychic and inner development, healing, and just sharing, Cancer, and your successes and things. I like that it's associated with the Wheel of Fortune there, Cancer. Just bask in the abundance that comes through with this energy. And then last few things. These readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And then the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below some links for some other readers that like watching, Cancer, so definitely check them out. I'm debating about actually adding a Pisces to that list there, Cancer, so yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm flirting with a couple other options there, but let's get into your general energy of the day, Cancer, which is a dope one, because you got the first card of Aries here, which is the Diamond card. Look at you shining as bright as the moon, Cancer. And with this card, this is a card of creative force, faithfulness, value, perfection, brilliance, commitment, light, purity, esteem, unconquerable force, multidimensional, multifaceted, and invincible spiritual power. Oh, Cancer, I feel like we might be getting a little intuitive. I'm with it. Because you got the energy that's coming through here is the multidimensional. And I feel that with this energy, Cancer, especially with, I feel like with this super moon being in Pisces, again, there's this energy of really kind of tuning into, I'm really feeling like I'm really kind of tuning into that intuitive side of yourself, however that's looking like. Maybe it's through dreams, like I was talking about, or maybe this is through meditation. Maybe this is something where, maybe where it's like when you've ever noticed, Cancer, when you happen to be in front of like a campfire, like a candlelight, how when you're staring at fire, you really can kind of get lost in that energy. Or maybe this might even be just even like being near water, even like submerged in water, taking a bath or something along those lines. And I really kind of tune into those like to those different dimensions and like really kind of exploring these different facets of yourself and really kind of seeing how you, I don't know, it's like tuning into a different way of manifesting, paying attention to those like those ideas that you have and those inspirations and things. You might be, I'm getting a very type of inspired energy that's really kind of coming through here, because even just thinking about Aries energy, Aries is they're very creative. They bring in the spring, they're bringing in new life, starting off the zodiac season. And that's where I kind of feel like if you were to tap into these different areas of you, like it would just come in as a rush here, Cancer. And I feel like too, Neptune's going to be retrograde until like the 6th of December. So and I feel like, the veil has been lifted. We really are connected to the source and be able to tap into that universal ocean in a way that is, you know, and not to say, and just kind of talking more about water signs, where all signs have their level, intuition manifests on them differently. But I feel like for all compared to the other elements, water is usually associated with intuition, Cancer, so it just comes naturally to us. But it's something where we have to really kind of tune into those things and explore different sides of yourself. Maybe even getting yourself you can't see over here, but I got a little crystal ball over here, Cancer. It might be just even working with crystals and things along those lines. But those little subtle energies, Cancer. But let's get some tarot on this and get some details. All right, Cancer. Thank you. Let's see what's going on here. All right, interesting. So you have the Ace of Swords and the Queen of Moons in reverse. She's been in reverse for a while here, Cancer. But I get that. You know what? But you have the Ace of Swords and the Queen of Moons in reverse. And then you have the Five of Moons, the Seven of Stars, the Page of Moons, and then the Queen of Wands upright. Let's start with the Queen of Wands here. Because I feel like with the Queen of Wands, Cancer, this is Aries energy for me. And I feel that there is this, I almost feel like that if we were to start really kind of working with, I'm kind of feeling with the Ace of Swords here. It's just like, I feel like we were to kind of open our mind up to just like sort of new ideas of how you kind of operate here with the Queen of Moons. Like how you really kind of tune in this energy. I feel like it's, how those two came up, it's almost like there are parts of us that we haven't invested in. There's like these untapped resources that are looking to be, I don't know, looking to be accessed here, Cancer. And it feels like with the Queen of Wands that this is something where if you were to like start exploring these sort of aspects of yourself, really kind of going with that almost like, and sidebar, Cancer, the stars are pentacles and then the moons are cups in this deck. But if it's like, if we were to explore these feelings and these sort of like natural abilities of ourselves with like that almost like childlike kind of innocence, because, when you think about like when we were just as children, a lot of us, well, not a lot of us, all of us were more so operating from that intuitive space until we started kind of getting into that the works of this matrix, and maybe we've been been hit with like different life things, bills, however growing up was. And I feel like it's just like those abilities haven't been fostered or invested in like they could have, Cancer. And it just seems like if we were to just kind of explore this with a little more curiosity and just like really kind of asking those sort of like deeper questions, tuning into higher self, the angels, spirits, ancestors, however you connect with source, Cancer. And that might be even too a question for you to ask, Cancer. How do you connect with source? What does that look like for you? Have you asked yourself that? And because maybe for some it's just like, I'm almost getting with like this Five of Moons here. It's like maybe we've tried, or maybe we've been. I almost feel like with the Queen of Wands, it's like we may have like maybe even rushed this thing, or like rushed how we connect with Source and all this stuff. Because I'll tell you what, Cancer, when I really kind of started getting on this sort of this spiritual journey and things, it started off like it was an interesting transition to how where I was even just like a year ago. It's like it's how it's evolved since then. It really is fascinating when you really kind of learn, not just just like, because we're spiritual beings in this vessel here, and we're meant to create and manifest, and all these ideas and things they come from source and from higher self. And it just feels, even just like with the Ace of Swords, it's just like that maybe for some it's just like we might, even though if you'd happen to be watching this, we may feel that it's just like, oh well, intuitive, intuitions are for people who happen to just do spiritual work, happen to read tarot, or things along those lines, or any sort of like divination practice. But Cancer, you can be intuitive in sports, you can be intuitive with technology, you can be intuitive with math, science. It doesn't, and that's the beauty of this journey. It's like, it's really kind of thinking with that, like that almost kind of like abstract energy or something along those lines. A diamond is it like shines differently, Cancer. We're but I do feel that it's one of those things, Cancer, that it's just going to remain, because it's not that, it's kind of like with like like working out, for example. It's like it's like a muscle. It's one of those things that we won't invest in. If we don't use it, we lose it, or just like it atrophies. And there's, I don't know, Cancer. It's just like with practice and with this, like getting into like this like routine and things of that. I feel like it would really kind of send you through the moon here. So I feel like don't be afraid to, Cancer, to be like to be a tyro, to be like a beginner, and to start from scratch. I feel like maybe for some it's like we see how others maybe do access their intuitive abilities, and we want to be a Queen of Moon stages right off the bat there. But we gotta put in that work, Cancer. But I feel like you do. Things may take off with the Queen of Wands a lot, like more than you think. And because I tell you what, when I started really kind of diving into the tarot too, I mean, it was just like it was brilliant. Just learning all this stuff, and it's different, Cancer. All right, but something to think about there, Cancer. Jupiter is exalted in our sign. Jupiter's all about growth and things, Cancer, promoting that higher learning, but very spiritual energy as well. But let's get into let's get some more on this. And look at that, Cancer. Look at that. Hubby came out. I'm with it for the Queen of Moons. That might be something. Oh, and there we are, Cancer. Because whatever you need, I love it. Thank you. So, Cancer, you got the Two of Wands and the Chariot up right here. And I know I'm doing a lot. And then you got the King of Moons in reverse here, Cancer. And with the Two of Wands here, Cancer, I feel like that there's this choice that maybe that's wanting to be made to like take this action and things. But I almost feel like for some that maybe there might be this hesitancy to kind of do this thing, is because maybe just kind of thinking about how you got the King and Queen of Moons in reverse here. I'm almost getting like maybe this is like our parental figures may have not supported that, or it doesn't even necessarily have to be parents, but like maybe just like people closest to us even don't seem to quite feel the same way that maybe you feel, Cancer. You might be going with this just like kind of youthful sort of like I don't know, like it's like enthusiasm, but maybe again, like how I was saying, like how you get into like once we get into like the really just get kind of like enmeshed into like the matrix and kind of bogged down with all of the stuff, this 3D stuff that goes down here. You know, it kind of can take that steam out of the chariot here, Cancer. But I feel like it's one of those things where, because again, even when I started this stuff, like, you know, even like, you know, friends and family were just like, oh, that's interesting that you're doing that. But then as it started to develop and stuff, it's like now it's like I'm getting people that are like coming to me and asking this stuff, as opposed to where almost feeling like, because I maybe even for some it feels like that we may feel like we need to prove ourselves, maybe it's just like, or something like that with the Queen of Wands. But I feel that there is, go down this journey here, Cancer, because you know we really are a powerful intuitive energy. You know, being able to feel to the degree that we do, we really kind of share a lot with Pisces in that regard. And just really all the water signs, we do it differently, but it comes very natural. And I feel that with the King of Moons now, it's just like, I almost feel like with the King and Queen of Moons being a reverse here, it's just like maybe finding, like surrounding ourselves with like different energies, as far as like people who may support this energy here, you know, support this work that you might put in, that you're thinking about putting in, Cancer. But because really I feel like when you really start tapping into that, you really start navigating this realm in a totally different way, from how you interact with people, from the choices that you make. Then just pay attention, Cancer, to how you notice that thing. Let's put you front and center here, Cancer. I'm so with that, Mark. I like that. Oh, yeah. Let me get a little more on this on this Two of Wands here, Cancer. Because it almost feels like with the Two of Wands and the Chariot, it's like really like encouraging this action here, Cancer. Oh, look at all these queens popping through here, Mark. Interesting. Thank you. Let's see what's going on here, Cancer. Interesting. Okay, so the Two of Wands is clarified by the Queen of Stars and then the Ten of Swords in reverse. And I feel like that maybe for some it's just like that, maybe again, like I'm getting almost like that this energy maybe was discouraged, or maybe it was told that it was something. For example, I was looking at someone's chart not too long ago, a Scorpio, and their abilities weren't supported in a way. It was chalked up as something totally different. You know, like they really, the Scorpio energy I've noticed really they have a way of really kind of tuning into spirits in a way. They really are linked up in a very, very powerful type of way, but it can get logged as something different, you know, maybe. And this is not me, you know, Cancer, I'm not, you know, like you know, poo-pooing doctors or anything along those lines, but I feel like that we're in such a society that is so quick to kind of label things as maybe crazy, or, you know, just throw some medication at it or something along those lines, when it really is something that is a little more beautiful than that. And if just like, and not to say that they're, you know, I hope you get what I'm saying, Cancer, but it just feels like that. It's just like, what could have been seen really is more so just like as an overactive imagination and things, or like someone that's really creative and things along those lines. It could be logged as something like taboo or something along those lines. And I feel like that maybe for some there may be this healing energy that's needing to happen here, because again it's like our resources aren't being utilized to the fullest like they could there. And I hope that makes sense, Cancer. But all right, I'm gonna move on from that, but let's get some advice from Jupiter and Neptune. See what these intuitive couple has to say. And I love that this is happening during this full supermoon, Cancer, and really bask under the full moon, Cancer. I feel like tonight and for the next couple of days. And but yeah, let's get a little bit more on that. Let's see. Let's get that advice. Thank you. Alright, Cancer. Last little bit here. Alright, so you have the Justice card and the Ace of Stars in reverse here, Cancer. And then you have the Six of Wands and then the Six of Moons up right here. And then let's switch back over here, Cancer. Because I kind of feel like with the, did I say Ace of Moons? I definitely meant Ace of Stars if I did. But with the Ace of Stars here, I feel like that, again, there's something here that's like, if we were to learn this thing about ourselves, Cancer, that it could lead to this state of success here. I feel like that the universe is trying to share, and like higher self are trying to share some, I don't know, it's like these ideas or something with you. You know, like maybe you've been curious about like maybe tarot, for example, or maybe you've been wanting to work with crystals or do like some Reiki work, or just maybe just wanting to be more kind of curious, or just feeling more curious with your spirituality in general here, Cancer. And I kind of feel with the Justice card here that it's just like I'm almost getting like a nervous energy, just like it's like seeing like what that means and like what we may learn in this stuff here, Cancer. And I will say, you know, when you do go through this journey, there's a lot of healing that does come from that. You know, there's some things that you'll need to face in order to really start doing that growth. You know, there's some, just thinking with the Six of Moons, there's some past stuff here, and that's, I feel like that can be really kind of tough for our sign there, Cancer. It can be easy to access in a way because we are rooted in the past, being associated with the fourth house, but it's because maybe those feelings of what needs to be healed maybe hit so deep, and you know, we do feel so much, or you know, can be, you know, can bring about these sort of like deeper emotions that can be harder to deal with, you know. And I feel like, you know, this is something, Cancer, this is not something you want to force. You know, take your time, you know, be compassionate with yourself, with the Queen of Moons, as you begin to learn these things and start to and get these sort of like realizations and stuff along those lines. And I feel like too, you know, because we all have this light and this dark energy in this, Cancer, but they're meant to work together. And I feel like a lot of times we just always want to bask in the light and really not give the darkness that type of day. But there's powerful allies, I feel, that can come from that. I'm actually going through a transit right now where Pluto's like in opposition with my natal Chiron, and that's my Chiron's in the 12th house, so it's like I got some subconscious things that I'm healing from and things along those lines. But when you do form those bonds with those kind of like sort of darker energies, they can become powerful allies there, Cancer, but they need that space to be seen. You know, it's interesting when you start kind of doing that work there, Cancer, and you just sort of like really just start learning. Oh, where'd you go, Cancer? Oh yeah, now I lost. Oh, here you are. It's just like when you see, and they can be elusive sometimes, and it can be kind of hard, you know, kind of learning that stuff about yourself. But when you do kind of get those reins back on that chariot there, Cancer, it is fantastic what things can manifest. You know, how your ideas can become, you know, inspiration gold, and it's wonderful there, Cancer. I mean, you make a diamond. You are a diamond, Cancer. So I like that. So I think I'm gonna leave that there, Cancer. But hopefully, I hope this kind of resonated with you, Cancer. If you've been feeling wanting to explore your side of yourself, but if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up, Cancer, and share this. I would love to see all Cancerians just really kind of tapping into that intuitive side. And Cancer, that just makes you even more powerful nurturers too. You know, you put in that work, and then you can share those resources with others and really kind of help others kind of process this stuff, and because you know what it feels like, and then you're able to go to those depths with people, you know, and you have that resilience there. It's really Pisces. Oh, jeez. I've been going through, I had a couple transits going on. Mars is trying my natal moon, and I've been feeling a lot more here as of late. So there's been a lot of that Scorpio. Speaking of Scorpio did some stuff where they were, yeah, I almost needed a tissue there, Cancer, but nature my problem. But, if you haven't already, Cancer too, subscribe, hit that bell button, you get notified on all these videos each day. And then last little bit, check your sun, just check your chart, Cancer. It really is fantastic learning this stuff about yourself, and then it becomes like where you understand it's like things aren't just happening to you just because. It's just like you can really kind of map this stuff out here, Cancer. I got some stuff that I am getting cooked up there as far as like to kind of help that along and really hopefully to kind of make a difference. I've been just collecting charts like crazy here as of late, and just kind of I've just want to sit down with everyone and just kind of map. Oh, this is fantastic, Cancer. But take your chart and then come on over to and I got some apps down for that, Cancer, that I like using, so definitely check that out in the description box. But then come on over to my other channel, Alchemist 8. I do videos, weekly ones, monthly ones, yearly ones. It's a good old time, and all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here so I can get you out of here, Cancer. I love that. Love when you sync up with the energies, Cancer. Or at least when you're starting to think about it. Because you got the full moon in reverse. And that's one of these... Oh, I just got chills. You got... This is one of the special cards in this deck. There are 3 of them. But you got the full moon here. And I feel like, Cancer, you see this keyhole that's locked in this moon here, Cancer? That's what you got. That's what you got at your disposal there. The moon is represented by the High Priestess, Cancer, and she's all about intuition. You have an abundance of abilities at your disposal there, and it's just really exploring that stuff, Cancer, and unlocking it, and realizing that fullest potential there. I freaking love that. That's brilliant, Cancer. And see how when you sync up with the energies in a great way, Cancer. Let me get your oracle card. I love when Higher Self does that. Thank you. Let's see what we got here, Cancer. How brilliant. So, Cancer, you got the... Oh, and I love that, too, because that's Wheel... Like, so you got the 10th card here, and the 10th card in the Major Arcana is Wheel of Fortune energy. That's Jupiter energy, but you got the Mugwort card, which is a card of psychic healing, Cancer. That's why I like that. And this is ruled by Neptune and the moon here. And you see that, Cancer? There's wisdom. Look at this owl getting this wisdom, just tapping into its third eye there. And look at this wise medicine woman doing this healing here. And oh, that's freaking brilliant, Cancer. I love that. So I feel like any ways that you can, do some psychic healing, again, whether this is, maybe even just sitting underneath the moon, maybe not even just putting out a chair and just kind of just seeing what's up, seeing what she, just basking in that lunar energy, Cancer, or doing some meditation, working with herbs even. I've worked with mugwort a little bit. I don't have, I'll have to do a little more research on that one, but I've worked with mugwort just for a hair there, but the moon and Neptune, that's very intuitive energy there, Cancer, and I feel like that, you start working on healing that intuitive psychic part of yourself, Cancer, you would be just, I feel like you'd be just floored with what you can create, and really just be in your energies there, Cancer. I'm with it. So you stay safe out there, Cancer. Oh, with this psychic healing, though, because where it is beautiful, it can be a lot at first when you start to face those kind of traumas and things along those lines, Cancer. And again, just do it at your own pace. Don't try not to force it. And you keep eyes on the moon there, Cancer. Like Rhonda's here to support you. You got the full supermoon here to support you. The full moon and the tarot. I mean, you are divinely protected there, Cancer. So just... moon's got your back. And I will catch you on the next one tomorrow.